Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this Expats Portugal webinar. It's the key steps for renting property in Portugal, and joining us tonight from Casa Portuguesa, the experts in this matter, is Ivana Luna, and she'll be telling us all about how to do exactly that with a short presentation and a chance for you to ask questions of her as well. Live on air here, and also when we conclude the recording, and we have a little bit of a VIP after party with Ivana a little bit later on, and perhaps Gilda from Casa Portuguesa. Tonight, it's all about the expert tips for finding and renting your new home in Portugal. Navigating the Portuguese rental market can be tricky, especially when you're unfamiliar with the local practices, as you probably will be. That's why this webinar tonight with Casa Portuguesa is designed to provide you with the essential knowledge to make informed decisions and avoid those pitfalls, those potential pitfalls, including, but not only this, many other topics that, and you may want to raise some yourself if they're not included in this list. But to begin with, we're considering city versus small town versus rural versus proximity to sea or inland, that all-important location, and whether an apartment or a house is best to suit your particular needs. Evaluating transport options, because they might well be different to where you've come from as well. Will you need a car, or do you prefer to walk, or do you want to use public transport? We'll also look at property leasing details, how to do the paperwork, checking for energy efficiency, insulation, pet policies, those sort of things. Will your pets, that your important furry family members, will they be welcome in properties? Ensuring the lease meets your visa requirements. That's very important as well, because it's part of the process often for coming to Portugal that you have a lease. So we'll make sure that box is ticked. The early termination conditions, should you need to move away from that particular property that you first secure here in Portugal, and your rights if the rent increases, as that appears to be the direction of travel. Rents going up and inventory hard to find, but Casa Portuguesa here to help us with that. And budget considerations, last but not least, be aware of advanced rent and security deposits, especially if you don't have a guarantor. We have solutions in that department, and Ivana's going to tell you all about that. So welcome, Ivana. Great to see you here from Casa Portuguesa tonight. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm very glad to be here again, and I would like to give a good evening to everyone. And I hope I can help you with our specialty, that is to look for a house for you, a home in Portugal.
Yes.
And we have teams in Porto and Lisbon, and we can deal with all Portugal, any place you like it.
That's so good to hear. And you made a very important and a very good distinction, I think, there between the house and the home. It's all about finding a home,
Yeah.
isn't it? And when we spoke to Gilda last week on the Dream Team session, which incidentally follows on a Thursday night at 9 o'clock here in Portugal, we have the Dream Team session with experts from every area to help you move to Portugal, every area of expertise. And she was talking about how Casa Portuguesa has developed to include more services to exactly make people feel at home. So that's been a lovely development to hear about, and I'm sure you'll tell us more about that tonight. And you've got a short presentation for us, which feel free to bring that to the screen now, if you will.
May I share it now?
Please do, yeah.
Okay.
Right, Gilda tells us she is in the traffic, and she's tuned in with the modern technology that's available to us. But Ivana is the expert here, she's telling us this evening. So over to you.
Yeah, so can you all see, right?
Yeah, absolutely. A fine looking home there.
Yeah. As I always talk with the clients when I talk to them, and I ask them about what they want and what they need, okay? And I always tell them that I'm looking for a home, not a house.
Yeah.
I'm looking for a place that I would be feel good. I would feel good living in that place. Okay.
So that's your own personal motivation.
Oh yeah, because I'm a kind of an expat too, right? Because I'm a Brazilian.
Right.
Yeah, so I live here in Portugal for a few years, but I'm from Brazil, so
you know what it's like to move here.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, very good.
Okay, so we are beginning with some questions, like when you thinking about renting like a place in Portugal, you have to think about few points, right? First, you have to decide where you would like to live. Okay, in the south, in the north, more inland, close to the sea. So you have to choose we usually we send you like a questionnaire, a few questions for us to feel what you need and what you like, okay? So after you decide about this, about the location, the area and everything, if you want a house or if you want an apartment, you need to decide what's your budget. Okay, so we will look for places up to the price you are willing to pay for renting. Okay, and when you decide about your budget, you have to keep in mind that you are going to have to pay some advanced rents and safe deposits, especially because you don't have a guarantor. So if you don't have a guarantor, sometimes they ask for more safe deposits. Usually it's about two safe deposits and two advanced rents, but that's not the rule for people who don't have a guarantor. Okay, so maybe they would ask for up to six, like two advanced rents and four safe deposits. It depends on the place, on the owner of the property.
And you're
Okay.
talking about monthly rentals, as in 6 weeks
Yes,
worth.
yes. So if you are willing to pay 1,000 euros for renting a place, then you have to keep in mind that you're not gonna have to pay maybe two advanced rents plus the safe deposits, and you have to know that when you move out, you have the safe deposits back. Okay.
I might come
So
back
this
to that
is,
to find out how easy
yeah.
or difficult that process is. Before you move on to your next slide, I wonder if I can ask you, we've got there city versus town, rural versus seaside, coastline. What are the trends at the moment? What do you find yourself looking for most for people?
Depends. People that are coming here to work, usually they ask for the city.
Yeah.
But if they are going to home office almost all the time, then sometimes they choose small towns.
Right. Okay. Which
So
makes it
like
a little.
not so far from the center.
Yes.
Like I live in Vila do Conde. It's a smaller town than Porto, but it's only 30 minutes from Porto.
Yeah.
And I
Very
have
good.
the metro.
So
So
if people do have a home office, that's certainly a trend that you're able to help them with, and they can live and maybe have other options around a
yeah,
city rather than trying to.
yes,
And
yes. And
obviously,
then maybe it will be cheaper than
yes, absolutely.
downtown.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Very good.
So can I move on?
Of course, yeah.
Okay. And after that, you have to decide. These are the questions people ask, right? If you are going to have a car or if you are going to use a public transportation. So this will be a point to think, because if you don't want to have a car and you have to live it somewhere that you can use public transportation, okay? So if you're going a little bit inland, so you need a car for sure. So you decided the size of your place, how many rooms, how many bathrooms. I would advise you, if you are more than two people, don't go to a one bathroom.
Sounds like you're speaking from personal experience.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's my opinion,
All
okay?
right, fair enough.
And then you decide if you want to furnish apartment or not. I would like to say something about that.
Mm.
The furnished ones are a little bit more expensive, okay? And if you are willing to buy your furniture, then you will have more options
Oh,
to,
okay.
to
So
choose.
generally speaking, there are more unfurnished, are there, than there are furnished? Is that right?
Yes, I think so.
Right.
Usually, if you need like two bedrooms or three bedrooms,
Yes. Yeah.
because most of the studios and one bedroom, there's a lot of them that are furnished. Okay.
Right.
So, but if you need a two bedroom, a three bedroom, it will be easier to rent an empty one.
That's
Okay.
interesting. Okay, so
Yeah.
we may return to that as well about how to get a property
Yeah.
furnished here in
And
Portugal.
then you have to like your own choices, like if you like a garden, if you like a balcony, if you need a parking, if you wanna get if you are gonna have a car,
Mm,
um, and if it's they allowed pets in the apartment or
right.
house. But
Yes.
usually in the apartment. It's a furnished, if it's a furnished one, they usually don't like to allow pets.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
All right. You,
Um,
by law, you're not allowed to discriminate against people, though, are you, with pets in Portugal?
I'm
I, I,
sorry.
I I thought the law was that you're not allowed to discriminate against people with pets, but
No, it's not. But if you say you have one, they would say, "Oh, we would like
yes,
to choose someone else."
yes, interesting. So yeah,
Yeah.
worth
So
bearing that in mind.
yeah. So sometimes it doesn't work,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay. So about the energy rating, I was trying to understand in a better way to explain it to
Mm,
you.
yeah.
Because usually people say, oh, I would like to have A, B, or C energy rating because it will be like utilities would be cheaper and it won't be so cold in the winter, things like that. Okay. But sometimes the apartment doesn't say it's an A, B, or C because they have like changed the windows and the floor and things like that, but the certificate are not changed because it costs to change the certificate.
Okay.
So this is something you have to observe. If they have double windows, if they have like wooden floor or vinyl, okay, the kind of heating they have in the apartment. It must be like if you have an air conditioning for cold and heating, it's cheaper than if you have gas. Okay.
That's interesting
And
to know. Okay, that's really helpful.
yeah, just because of the price, because see, the heating with gas is very good, but it's
Yeah.
a little bit more expensive.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So if you have air conditioning, it's a little bit cheaper.
Yep.
Okay. So the way they have the waters to be heated, maybe they have like the bomb the to heat the waters, or if they use gas, or if it's electric. So there's a lot of things you have to observe when you're going to find a place to live.
Which,
Okay.
yeah, obviously will influence your ongoing costs.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
your investment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good.
Okay. So and sometimes they don't have the certificate, energy certificate, but the place is okay.
So the bottom line is then is not to go necessarily strictly speaking on the energy certificate, but to
Yeah.
ask questions and have a look and see for yourself about
Exactly.
what you might be up against. Okay, good. Yeah.
That's it. So this will be better because then you can have some place that it's great, but you wouldn't look at it because it says it's a C.
Yes. Like
See?
it's literally not judging of the book by its energy rating cover.
Yes, that's it. Okay, so when you choose a place and you have a place and you're going to, before you're going to move to this place, you have to take care of the utilities. Okay. So, and I would like to remember that we take care of all of it.
Yes,
Okay.
that's such a relief.
Yes. So you have to connect with the electricity and water and gas and internet. And sometimes if you choose to live in a place a little bit more out of town, you have to check if they have like the good internet available
Yes.
for the places, okay?
Yeah.
With Wi-Fi and everything.
Yeah, because in theory, it should be fairly easy to do these things. But where I
I'm
think Casa
sorry.
Portuguesa really come into their own with this and why it's so valuable, the service you offer, is when it goes wrong. So
Yeah,
if you've agreed a connection and the people don't turn up or there's some sort of problem, being a foreigner in that situation, if your Portuguese isn't very good, is really very difficult, and it just
yeah.
becomes
Yeah,
quite
because they want to leave,
stressful.
we want to arrive in a place that everything is working,
Yes, yes,
right?
yes, yeah,
So, and as soon as you have a contract, a signed contract, we can take care of this,
yeah, very
all
good.
these things, okay? If you have gas in the place, you need an inspection.
Right. Okay.
Inspection, yes.
Yes.
So, and this
By
is,
that, but by that, do you mean a valid certificate, or it has to be done when you take the lease up?
well, sometimes they accept if you have a valid one because the certificate has a validation of 5 years.
Okay.
Okay. But sometimes the later tenant didn't have one, so you have to pay for a new one.
Okay, and that is the responsibility of the tenant to get the gas inspection.
Yes, because for
Okay.
you to use the gas,
Yes.
you need to have it inspected.
Okay. Good to know.
Okay. So the other question that I usually people ask is about the normal duration of a lease. Okay. Usually for a lease that you need um, for your documents here in Portugal, you need to have a 1 year, a minimum of 1 year lease, okay, in Portugal. And this contract must be registered in finances. It's the tax authorities in Portugal, okay? And when it's registered in the tax office, you can have access to everything. So the each rent you pay, it's there, everything. So you can just take care and look at it if you need any document from the tax authorities, okay?
Very good.
I'm sorry.
No, I just thanking you, acknowledging the point you made there. One thing that might be useful to clarify. I'm just having a look at the questions as well.
Uh-huh.
Just to clarify the local vocabulary. T1, as you mentioned, is one bedroom basically, isn't it? So T2
Yes,
is two bedrooms, and a T0 that people might
it's
come
a
up with
studio.
studio. Okay, so
Yeah.
just so everybody knows what we're talking about on that basis.
Okay. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
No, not at all. No, it's everyday language for you, isn't it? So
Yeah, yeah,
perfectly
that's it.
understandable. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And people think, oh, but I can terminate the contract. When can I terminate the contract? So if you have a 1 year contract, you have to go all the year, okay? And when it's maybe 100, depending on the contract, but usually it's 120 days before the end of the contract. You send a letter saying that you want to terminate the contract, that you are not going to renovate it, okay?
Right. Okay.
And if it's a 2 year, 3 year, 3 years contract, you have to fulfill at least 1/3 of the contract.
Very interesting. Okay. So some people might come from a culture where you can give a month's notice. It's 120 days is the law.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
that's the
And,
law.
and a year of a 3-year contract.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that's it. About the rights, your rights, if the landlord wants to increase the rate, the law protects you, okay? Because you have like a coefficient that the state says that you can increase the rent.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just for you to know, this year was the maximum percentage that they were able to increase the rate was 6.9%. Okay. And every year the law says how much they can increase the rent. Okay, so you were protected. They cannot increase the prices over than the percentage that the state says. Okay.
Good.
And for your rental contract to meet your visa requirements, it just has to be minimum of 1 year and registered in the tax authority, like the finances.
Yes, because people
Okay.
could be quite attracted to a rental somewhere, but if it's not registered with finances, if somebody's trying to rent it for cash or whatever, that won't fly for the visa, will it?
No, no. If it's a temporary, like a temporary contract, like Airbnb, doesn't meet your requirements.
Right.
Okay. So you need to have a contract registered in finances. Okay. Um, well, I think that covers almost everything about renting in Portugal. It's not that difficult. Okay.
Well,
You need,
to be fair, you've made it simple.
yeah.
That's the beauty of what you do, isn't it? You make it easier for people, which would
Yeah.
be pretty
Yeah.
complicated if they try and do it themselves. Yeah.
You have to put together all documentations they ask for. So
Yes.
they would ask you your proof of income, okay, your copies of your passports, and normal stuff. Nothing not so complicated about documentation. Okay.
Yes. And if
So
so if you're working on somebody's behalf, they would submit that to you once, and then you can submit it to every case of
yes, yes.
a homeowner that wants to
I
rent
will
out.
have everything with me, and then I can send to make a proposal.
Very good. Okay, and just on that note, Tim, thanks for that question. Who registers the rental contract with the tax office? It's the homeowner that does that, isn't it? It's the land.
Yes, yes, the landlord.
Okay, there you go.
It's very simple.
Yeah,
He does it online.
right. Okay.
Okay, so it's okay if you don't have to wait too much for this. So you're gonna have everything okay for your visa appointment.
Laura's saying it should also be the tenant. What would you say to that, Ivana? The law for a visa is that the owner registers. But and I guess if you were a tax resident in Portugal, you would de facto have the home because the owner had registered it with finances. You would be down as the tenant, wouldn't you? And that would be in your tax records anyway, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. You're gonna see it um in the website
In the
under your
portal.
lease.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So there you go.
it's
That's
there.
the proof. That will be your own proof from your end. Is
Yes,
when you see it, when you start paying rent, you'll as well as the receipt from the landlord, there will be some indication that it is showing up inside the portal of the finances as well.
yeah, that's it. So if you want to, like, you want to come to Portugal before renting a place and would like to know the area, we can provide you with additional service of a guided tour to the main points of interest where you plan to live. I
Right.
mean, if you would like to know the area in Porto, the surrounding cities, the small towns or things like that, we can take you to these places and you can check for yourself the what would you like to have in the
Very
area
good.
that you are going to live. Okay.
That's in person. And can you do virtual if somebody just wants to find out more from their own country?
I'm sorry.
That sounds like it would be an in-person tour where you're taking people around. Can you do that online over Zoom, for example, and talk to people about areas
Well, we can make like a meeting
or
and
consultation?
talk about, yes, and we can talk about it. But if you want to see in person,
Mm,
we can take you.
yes, I've got a
Okay.
place, but I'm tempted as well to have a tour of somewhere new, do a bit of sightseeing with you.
That's it. And when you arrive in Portugal, when you get here, if you need, we have transfer from the airport too.
Excellent.
Yeah. So it's and you just need to know if you need a small car or a large car, and then we can have it for you.
Great.
Well, I think
Perfect.
I
There's the details of how to get in touch.
Yes, these
With
are our details, our emails from the group in Lisbon is Carla and Carolina. And here in Porto is Ana Mota and I. Okay, we are responsible and we will do everything we can for you to have a nice and spectacular experience in Portugal.
Very good. Well, let's leave those details on the screen for a moment so people can make note. So,
Okay.
of course, you can
Yeah.
find Casa Portuguesa in the Expats Portugal business directory as well, expatsportugal.com. And just a little cultural note of interest: the name of the company, Casa Portuguesa, is Amalia. And a song that's very dear to the culture of Portugal, which is a classic song called Casa Portuguesa, and basically translated, it is your Portuguese home, your Portuguese house.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's worth looking at. Don't do it now, but maybe after the webinar, between now and the Dream Team at 9, you might want to look on YouTube for Amalia's Casa Portuguesa. It's so beautiful, and I think that's where the inspiration came from Gilda as well. So well worth having that little dip into Portuguese culture. So let's take a few of these questions here. We'll do maybe 5 or 10 minutes of some of the questions that have come up here whilst you've been live and doing your presentation, Ivana, and thank you for doing so. And then we'll stop the recording and people can ask you more personal questions if they want to
Okay.
behind the scenes. Christian's in Porto, not far from you. Good evening to you, Christian. And Debbie, I was so lucky to find an awesome rental in Coimbra, but I'm here to learn more to help others if I decide to move. And yes, and you had a great day at that Tia Beijinhas, I think it is. Auntie Kisses, a dog cafe in Coimbra. Thank you for providing the link for that. Jose Cruz, Bombaral, I think, is where Buddha Eden is, where you've been. Went for the first time this week and it was lovely. We took our visiting daughter and grandson and rode the train throughout the garden. What a fabulous idea that is if you're near Bombaral. And talking of Bombaral and other locations, a question I love to ask you myself and Carolina, Ivan, is what new locations have come onto the radar just recently for people, or what new places are you recommending to people to look?
You mean in
Yeah,
Porto?
no, across the country, across the whole country.
Across the country?
Yeah, because
It's a lot
it's
of
changed,
people
doesn't it?
coming here and asking to live to look for places in Viana do Castelo.
Right. Okay. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
Viana do Castelo.
Yeah.
And really, even here in Vila do Conde, because this is a very nice place to live,
Yeah.
close to the sea, and it's some of the clients are looking for here to live here too.
And I think you
Uh,
said you're on the metro for Porto in Vila de Conde, aren't you?
yeah,
Yeah.
yes,
Okay. So
yes,
it's a good location from that point of view. Very good. All right. So looking north, there seems to be a little bit of a mini trend there in the north of Portugal. Yeah, Ponte Lima, Vila de Conde,
yeah.
Viana do Castelo,
Braga,
Braga as well. Okay, interesting.
yeah,
So more over to the northeast as well as the coast. All right. Very interesting. Thank you.
yeah.
Currently in San Francisco, says Alan and Jerry, moving later this year to a state that doesn't tax expats, planning to get to Portugal in 26, 27. Thank you both for being here tonight. Trust it's been useful to you. Any questions you've got, pop them in the chat. Okay, La Ronda, that's an interesting update for us. Maybe we'll talk about that a little bit later on when we've concluded the recording. Yes, Gilda behind the scenes as well will be joining us for the Dream Team at 9, and we'll have a link for that in the chat in just a moment. Can you please explain, says Steve, Ivana, the guarantor and how that works? I mean, you're basically saying that if people don't have a guarantor, they will be treated somewhat differently as foreigners. Can you get a guarantor as a foreigner? Can that system work for you here in Portugal?
Well, they usually, when they ask for a guarantor, is a Portuguese one,
Yes.
and none of the expats has a guarantor. Never.
Oh,
Unless you have someone here who has a property and is a Portuguese and is willing to be your guarantor. So
okay. There is
you
an insurance aversion, or I don't know.
yes,
Yeah,
yes, there's
but
a an insurance version for that.
yes.
But usually they ask for more advanced rates or safe deposits.
So basically, as a foreigner, you're likely to be asked for more advance payments than a
Yes.
domestic tenant. Okay, native
But
tenant.
it's not like not everybody asks for it, okay?
True. Yes, we do find this, don't
Yes.
we?
Yeah, there's
Some
a lot
landlords.
of
Yes.
contracts I'm working on. It's only two advanced rents and two safe deposits. But
Okay.
it depends on the place and on the owner of the property.
There you go, Steve. I chose city. We were talking about various locations where you want to be in the country. Debbie chose city for availability of medical providers, because I don't want to own a car. So that makes city life the obvious choice there. Even living alone, I like two bathrooms, one for guests and my own messy one. So there's a little bit of personal experience that might be to
Well,
there.
if you're willing to have some people over
Yes.
to visit you, it's nice to have more than one
They
bathroom.
can be in the guest bathroom, absolutely. Yes, the guest bathroom is just along the corridor there. Is gas or electric water heater more cost efficient? I think you were basically saying the electric's the expensive version, is it not, Ivana?
No, I said that gas is more expensive for
Oh,
heating than
oh, okay, yes,
electricity.
yes, okay.
Okay?
All right.
Yeah.
For the heating part, and
Yes, for the
water
heating.
for water heating, which would you say, gas or electric, as an option for that?
I think electric is cheaper too.
For water as well, for heating water.
Yeah, because
Okay.
gas nowadays gas is more expensive.
Well, that's true, isn't it? I've seen the price
But
rise.
I
Yeah.
don't see. I'm not saying that it's oh it's so expensive you cannot have it. I have gas here, so my
Yes, same here.
water
Same here.
and my heating is with gas, and it's okay.
And it might be that the place is perfect apart from that, and you would just probably swallow that cost, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
Okay. All right. So there's a number of variables, and that would be one of them. But yeah, there you go. It would appear electric for Ivana. In Massachusetts, landlords must include heat and hot water in the rental price. It's certainly not the case. You're paying for your
No,
own
not the case.
energy here, aren't you?
Yeah.
And I think maybe in some studio situations, or if you're sharing with people, that there might be some all-in price. But generally speaking, you're going to be paying for your own energy. Okay,
Yes.
there you go. I will. Okay, that's from Laura. Thank you, Laura, for your comments in the background there as well. We can talk to you more about that when we've concluded the recorded part of the webinar. How is parking handled? Asked Tom. If the apartment doesn't include a parking space, do you have to find on-street parking? Yes, good luck with that, basically, right?
Yes. But
Right.
you know, I in Porto they have you can go to the like a community place or something like that, and you pay a fee and you have a license
Oh, like a
to
residence
park
permit.
in your area of residence.
Okay, well, that's got to be worth
So
looking for.
you just have to put this on your car, and it's around maybe 25, 30 euros, the like the license, and then it's valid for 1 year.
Oh, okay. Some people are
Yes.
thinking that's what it costs a day in London, for example. Is it
Yeah.
25 euros for the year?
Yes. That's
That's
the last time I checked in
wow.
for a
Yes,
client.
yes. I think I have paid 25 euros for a parking for a day in London. So
Yes.
that's for a residence permit. That's good to know about. However, a lot of apartments do have underground parking, don't they? And it's amazing how much of Portugal is underground. So,
Yeah.
and I think it's a requirement, isn't it, for most apartment blocks to have underground parking, which of course is a new thing for a lot of foreigners. The angles and the whole business of parking on very steep slopes and going subterranean when you're parking. But often with an apartment, you will get a parking space there. Thank you very much for that question, Tom. And George, yes, how long have you been in 2 weeks? 2 weeks in Lisbon, fantastic, and looking for a place. So congratulations, George. Let us know how life's treating you in Lisbon, if you will. How to protect, this is from a landlord's point of view, how to protect against non-paying renters. How difficult is it to kick out such non-paying renters, says Alex. What is the common percentage of rent for the property management companies and what they just, I think we'll come back to that because that's not specifically from the demand side. That's on the supply side. So let's return to that when we finish recording here, Alex, but it's a good question. Is moving out of the country considered a valid reason for breaking a lease, says Charlotte. Have you come across that in your experience, Ivana?
No. Uh, but you have a contract. You have to fulfill this contract.
Right.
And if you have anything different from that, you have to talk to the
Yes.
owner and see if you can manage something.
And we find, generally speaking, don't we, that Portuguese people are kind, generous, understanding, humanistic. And given that there is such demand for rentals, this could be transferred possibly, couldn't it, as well? So you won't find yourself in a difficult
Oh,
position.
yeah, I have a client now
Yep.
that I'm dealing with this client, and they are moving cities. They have to move from Porto to another city,
Yep.
and they talked to their landlord, and he said, "Oh, it's okay if I get a new tenant before of the time you have, it's okay. You can leave and you don't have to pay any fee." So
That's what I'm talking about. That's
yeah, so that's something that you you just have to talk.
yes, very good. Okay. That's great. Can the lawyer register the contract? I guess it has to be at the instruction of the owner, doesn't it? Registering the lease.
Yes, the owner that is responsible for registering the contract.
So who does it is another matter, but it is the owner's responsibility, and you do need it if you want it for your visa case. So you need a NIF number, says Jessica,
Yeah,
before applying. So that's an important consideration, isn't it? You have, if you are going to buy or rent, you'll be needing your
you've
NIF.
been it and if.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Good. And yes, we did. We've covered the guarantor question. If you're still unclear, Olivia, you'll get a chance to chat with Ivana in just a moment. If one has a 1 year contract, is there any way to get out of it? I think we've covered that, George. If we haven't, again, let's talk more about that afterwards. Is it advisable for an avogado, or the lawyer, to check the contract? So I'm guessing you offer that service, Ivana.
Well, we do that
Yes.
because if we are dealing with your contract, we will you will only sign it if it's according to the law. So we have lawyers to check it. So
Okay.
you won't have anything that it's against the law.
Okay,
Okay?
very good. So you won't need an additional view on that. You can
No.
get one. You can get a second opinion if you want, but it is part of the Casa Portuguesa process. Talking of new areas, Almada is one that Tom Smith is focusing in on. Well done, Tom. I'll be going there myself this weekend. Gas has become more expensive because of the Ukraine-Russia conflict. Thank you, George, for that. Is it possible to sign a contract with a future start date? Very likely you will. Example, sign a 1 year contract in November with a start date. Oh, I see what you mean. I guess this is for people with visas who want to take a contract but don't want to pay for it yet. It doesn't really work like that, does it?
No, it doesn't work like that.
Sadly not.
Because if you need a contract, your visa appointment is at the end of September.
Right.
So you need a contract signed by then,
Yes,
right? So
absolutely.
if you sign it like September 15, but beginning on October 1st, it's okay for your visa,
Hmm.
right? But you can't have a signed contract for months ahead. Like,
Yes.
oh, I need for now, but I will be moving in only next year.
Yes, there
But
is. It's just part of the Portuguese economy, isn't it?
yeah,
Apart
but no,
from
because nobody is willing to rent a place and not to be receiving the rent for
quite. There it
months.
is. Yep. Basic economics there, Michael. Michael, Laura is talking to you there. Finding an annual contract is so difficult that it's very unusual for an owner will keep it for even 1 month. So a little bit more background information for you there, Michael. Thanks for that question. Been in Porto for 7 years now, but now working in real estate. So this presentation is very informative. I'm in a T1 rental for 4 years. Thanks, Christian, for joining us. And you're asking probably the last question of the recording this evening. Does Casa Portuguesa have an office in Porto? You certainly do, don't you, Ivana?
Yes, near Casa da Música.
There you go, near
Yeah.
the.
It's a very nice place. You can pass by and have a coffee with us.
I will. Thank you. That wasn't an invitation to me, but that sounds like a lovely invitation. Generally speaking, they have a coffee at near the Casa de Musica, the house of music right there in Porto. Ivana, last word to you then. Great presentation, great information. Thank you very much for being with us tonight on Expats Portugal.
It was a pleasure.
What would you like to say in conclusion?
Well, I would like to say that we are here to help you. We are here to do our best for you and for you to have a nice place, a nice home to live in Portugal.
Excellent. And a cup of coffee if you're passing.
Yes.
Very good. All right, let's. Oh,
If you're lucky, I would have a piece of cake too.
Oh my goodness, it just gets better and better. This is an important question which I can't leave unasked. Is there a fee for meeting and chatting? Do you do an initial consultation, and what does that cost?
Well, if you need a consultation for your document and things like that, we have like a legal meeting that it has a cost. But if you want to talk about renting, you can send us an email and we'll go from there.
Just have a
Because the cost
first
is for
chat.
the service,
Yes.
okay?
Yes. Okay. Very good. All right.
So
So
we are going to explain everything, and if you agree with everything, then you will pay.
there you go. So first, there is no fee for that first initial chat and talking about the service before you engage and embark and subscribe to it. Thank you very much, Ivana. Let's pause the recording right there.